In this video, I'll be sharing a book niche that is easy to create, it is always in demand, and it is making people a lot of money. And if you play it right, you can turn it into a full self-publishing brand. I'll show you how it works, who's doing it really, really well, and how you can do the same. Hi, welcome to Self-Publishing Central. My name is Caroline, and every single week I share real strategies, case studies, and behind the scenes tips to help you build a thriving self-publishing business. If you're looking for the type of book that sells consistently, doesn't require any writing, and is in demand all year round, you're going to want to hear this. Today, we are talking about educational workbooks and why they're one of the smartest and most profitable types of books that you can self-publish. And I'm not talking about just those basic math drills or alphabet tracing. Yes, those are in this niche too and are very popular and sell really well. But I'm talking about a whole universe of workbook types that parents, teachers, and homeschoolers are buying on Amazon every single day. The demand is there, the competition is still surprisingly low in many niches, and the reason for that is because not everyone can create these types of books. They're typically not easy to make without the right tools to help. And once you publish one successful book, it is incredibly easy to scale into a full brand. You do not need to be a teacher. You don't need to hire a designer. And with the right tools, you can create these exact books a lot faster than you might think. So let's get straight into it and let's break it down. What makes educational workbooks so powerful? What types of books sell best? We'll look at some real life successful books from the Amazon marketplace, and I'll show you how you can start creating your own. Let's start with the basics. What types of educational workbooks are actually selling? Well, this isn't a one-size-fits-all category. There are dozens of different formats and content types, and they appeal to different age groups, skill levels, and goals. But across the board, these are some of the top performers. Handwriting practice books. These teach uppercase letters, lowercase letters, cursive writing, even themed handwriting books like Learn to Write with Animals or Princess Writing Workbook. Then we have letter and number tracing books. These are great for preschoolers and kindergartners. These are usually very low content books with big letters and numbers to trace, and sometimes with fun illustrations. We've got sight word practice. These books are hugely popular with early elementary students. These books help kids recognize and write common sight words, which is key to early literacy. We've got spelling and vocabulary books. These are often organized by grade level or word lists, and some are just simple fill in the blank style, whereas others are more interactive. Then we've got basic math workbooks. We're talking addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. They're usually grouped by grade, and they are sometimes paired with games or themed visuals. Reading comprehension workbooks. These are usually for slightly older children, and they include short passages followed by questions to test understanding. Then we've got grammar, sentence building, and speech. These types of books are very common in homeschool communities and among teachers supplementing classroom materials. Themed educational books. These combine subjects with fun topics like dinosaurs, space, animals, or fairy tales to help engage kids even more and make learning fun. We've got seasonal or holiday workbooks, so think summer brain boosters, winter break learning pack, or back to school skill sharpeners. The key takeaway here is that educational workbooks aren't just one thing. You can specialize in a subject, an age group, a theme, or all three. And the best part is that once you create a structure or a template for one book, you can reuse it across other topics. Now, let's take a look at some real examples of these kinds of books in action. First up, and if you have looked at the kids' educational workbook niche before, it's probably one that you've seen, is the IXL Ultimate Math Workbook. This book has been a consistent bestseller in the children's education category for years. It ranks in the top 500 overall on Amazon. Now, at the time of recording this video, it has close to 2,700 positive reviews. The price, it's around $17. That means this one workbook is potentially generating thousands of dollars every single month. Why does it sell so well? It's big. It combines multiple maths subjects. You've got addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, fractions, and geometry all in one. It's the kind of book that a parent can buy once and it feels like they're covering everything. It is not a self-published book, but it proves that the demand is massive. So let's move on to a more indie-friendly example. There is a whole wave of independently published or self-published spelling and math workbooks out there that are thriving without big budgets or fancy brands. These books are usually sold by grade level, so something like grade 2 spelling book or 3rd grade math skills practice. And of course, we have the famous, always super popular My First Learn to Write Workbook by Crystal Radke. This book has been featured in quite a few of my past videos. Currently has a bestseller rank of 13, and this book is always in the top 100 of all books on Amazon. If you go to the book section and look at the top 100 book list across the whole of Amazon, this book is always in that list. It has almost 90,000 positive reviews. This is the ultimate goal for any self-publisher in the educational workbook niche. And you might be saying, Caroline, this is not a self-published book. And no, it is not. But it was originally a self-published book, and it was self-published for many, many years. And during those years, it was still always ranked in the top 50 to 100 of all books on Amazon. And then a year or two ago, a traditional publisher took it over, purchased the rights to this book. So if we take a look at the history of the sales of this book, you will see that it has always been a consistent bestseller. So when it was very first published at the end of 2019, it very, very quickly became a bestseller. This was when it was self-published. It has a rank of 2 there, the number 2 book on the whole of Amazon. And it has stayed one of the best-selling books all the time it was self-published. And then when it was picked up by a publisher, I'm not sure exactly when, but at some point in the last couple of years, it got picked up by a traditional publisher, and nothing changed with how popular this book is. When this book was published through Amazon KDP, it was making tens of thousands of dollars every single month for Crystal Radke. I mean, if we head to the Kindlepreneur book sales calculator and pop in a bestseller rank of 2, when it was self-published, it was selling 60,000 copies in a single month. And look at those earnings, those royalties for 1 month. This book is just an absolute classic of, I think, what we all hope for as a self-publisher. Another super successful kids educational workbook is this Scissor Skills book by Lucas and Friends. This brand has a whole range of kids workbooks, this one being one of their most popular. It currently has a bestseller rank of 111, which makes it one of the most popular books out of all books on Amazon. And with that bestseller rank of 111, this book is estimated to be selling between 8,000 and 9,000 books per month. So just from these few examples, math mega books, basic grade level workbooks, and scissor skills books, we can see already a powerful pattern. These books aren't complicated, they're practical, they're repeatable, and they're in high demand. Now here's why things get even more exciting. Once you publish one successful workbook, it becomes really easy to build a whole series or brand around it. Let's say that you make a grade 1 spelling book. If it sells, you can quickly expand into grade 2 spelling, grade 3 spelling, kindergarten spelling, summer review spelling, and then you can branch into related categories like grammar for grade 1, sentence building for grade 1, and vocabulary for grade 1. Now, suddenly, instead of one book, you've got a whole product line, and these books naturally lead into each other. Customers who buy your grade 1 book are likely to come back for grade 2 next year. Parents with multiple children may buy several different grades at once. Teachers might purchase multiple subjects from the same self-publisher. And this is where branding really starts to pay off. If your covers use the same fonts, layout, and color scheme, customers begin to recognize your books. You could even create a logo for your brand or a publishing name that becomes your storefront on Amazon. This is exactly how some of the biggest educational workbook self-publishers got their start, by building one book and then expanding into every variation of that book across grade levels and topics. When we go back and look at Crystal Radke's Learn to Write Workbook, we can see it's part of a series, my first preschool skills workbooks series. And if we look at that series, she has built a brand around this niche. We've got the original, the best-selling My First Learn to Write Workbook, but then we've got My First Alphabet Tracing Workbook. Then we get into My First Number Tracing Workbook. So she's leaning into the kindergarten-aged kids and teaching them everything about learning to write letters, numbers, words. Then we get into counting. So same age group, but we're learning to count, Then we're learning how to use scissors. We've got scissor skills. And then we've got bilingual, so for kids who speak multiple languages. Then we've got preschool, so we're moving into maybe some older kids and teaching them more advanced handwriting skills, then going through all the different subjects for that age group. Now, before we move on, I want to quickly mention something very, very exciting. Over the past couple of years, a lot of you have been asking about where to get the tools I use to create these kinds of books, especially things like tracing pages, spelling worksheets, and things like word ladders. And I have been recommending the tools that I use personally and the ones that I think are the best ones for creating educational workbooks. I've shared tools that will help you to create books that teach maths, telling time, reading clocks, spelling, reading, writing. I have lots of videos sharing these tools that I use. And up until now, the only option has been to buy all these tools separately, one here, one there. And I love that you are able to get access to these tools to help you create these kinds of books that would otherwise be very difficult and very time consuming to create. But something new is coming, a way to access everything in one place, something that gives you the full toolbox all under one roof. It is something that you have been waiting for, something that you have been asking for, and it is almost here. I'll be sharing more about that in the next week or so, so stay tuned and make sure to catch my next couple of videos. But for now, let's keep going. So why does this niche and why do these types of books work so consistently? There are a few big reasons. Firstly, demand never goes away. Every single year, a new wave of students enters kindergarten, first grade, second grade, and so on. Every year, millions of parents are looking for ways to support their kids' learning, especially over school holidays or during tough curriculum gaps. Second, workbooks get used up. Unlike a storybook or a novel that gets read once and then shelved, workbooks are functional. Kids write in them, they tear out pages, scribble answers, which means that parents and teachers are constantly needing to reorder them. Third, there is massive demand outside of schools. Homeschooling is growing fast. More parents are doing after-school tutoring, and many simply want screen-free learning resources at home. Your audience isn't just teachers, it's parents, it's grandparents, nannies, homeschoolers, even therapists. Fourth, these books are usually purchased based on function, not who wrote them or created them. This is huge. Customers aren't looking for J.K. Rowling or a celebrity author. They want results. And if your book clearly says second grade maths practice, and that is what they're looking for, and it shows clean, useful pages, that's all they need. Fifth, the keywords are incredibly clear. If someone types in third grade grammar workbook into the Amazon search bar, they're telling you exactly what they want. This makes your Amazon SEO and listing optimization so much easier than with other book types. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Do you need to be a teacher or a curriculum expert to publish these books? No, you definitely do not. What you need to be is you need to be a product creator, someone who can spot demand, understand what parents and teachers are looking for, and put together a book that meets that need. Thanks to the tools that are available today, you can create tracing worksheets with custom letters or phrases, spelling and vocabulary pages from word lists, fill in the blank grammar activities, word ladders, logic puzzles, and more. You don't have to design every page from scratch. You don't even need to write much of anything. You're assembling proven educational formats using smart templates and automation tools. You can also outsource content creation if needed, but many of the tools that I use generate the content for you. All you have to do is tweak the layout, add a title page, and export your interior. That's how I built my own educational workbook brand, not by writing novels or hiring teams, but by identifying opportunities in the educational space and using the right tools to move quickly. And again, I'll be showing you more about how you can get access to every one of those tools across a range of different subjects very soon. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, it's that educational workbooks are one of the most stable, scalable, and satisfying niches that you can get into with self-publishing. They're not trendy, they're not seasonal, they're not dependent on algorithms or celebrity influencers, but they are very simple, very useful, and in demand. And if you can publish one, you can publish 5. If you can publish 5, you can publish 20. If one of them starts to sell, it carries the others. And before you know it, you're not just self-publishing books, you're building a brand. In the next video that I'm going to share, I'm going to show you how puzzle books fit into all this and why they might be even easier to create. Plus, we'll get one step closer to the full reveal of what we've been working on behind the scenes, which will help make the tools to create these types of books even more accessible to you. So if you're not subscribed yet, make sure to hit that button and turn on notifications so that you don't miss out on anything. Leave a comment below if you've ever considered creating educational workbooks, or if there is a specific grade level or topic that you would want me to explore further. And if you did enjoy this video, YouTube thinks that you might like these ones too. So please go check them out to learn more about self-publishing your own low and medium content books on Amazon. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.